Hello everyone, this is Vinay here from Learn Coding with Vinay again, and this is video number 5 of our mini video series where we are going over database design using a real world business case, and the business case is drinking water distribution. Right. In the previous video, we discussed about vendor processor related tables. In this video, we will discuss customer process related tables, right? So there are two only in this case: customer order transaction, the daily or maybe weekly. Customer buys the water gallon, that information we need to store it somewhere, right? So the customer order transaction will store the customers buying details of gallons, right? Then customer payment, this will happen monthly usually, right? So customer usually pay monthly for all the water transactions, right? So let's dive deep into these two tables, and let me bring the SSMS studio, right? So now we have the customer related tables, which are these two, right? Customer water transaction. So what do we need to have? Obviously, first one will be ID, identity, primary key, right? Then the customer ID. This refers to our user table. Then the vendor ID, from which vendor he or she has bought, right? Again, it is referring to user ID, right? Then the quantity, default should be one, because you cannot make an entry that is actually zero or something, or even negative, right? It has to be more than one, right? So default is one. I added default one, right? Then delivery time, on which day and time the gallons were delivered, right? And this is ad hoc column. This column is taken as sometime there are customers who are not actually mapped to a vendor. Let's say vendor 1 is giving water gallons to customer 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and customer 6 to 10 they are taking from some different vendor, right? But sometime what happens, the for any reason, maybe one vendor or second vendor, they did not appear to provide the water gallons, so we have to buy the water gallons from the vendor who are not our regular vendor, right? So this is ad hoc flag can be marked true or false to indicate that, right? So let's say vendor 1 is delivering to customer 1 to 5, and on a one day, 6 number customer requested them to provide them also the water gallon, right? So this request can be marked as ad hoc because it's kind of more of a on demand, right? They might need, for any reason, for maybe the second vendor did not come for that day, or they consume more drinking water, right? For any reason. So this is ad hoc. See, ad hoc will help vendor to determine how many ad hoc requests they are receiving on a day or on a monthly basis, and they can carry those extra gallons into the vehicle, right? So that they're earning, they can earn more than what they are earning by their regular customer, right? So this kind of decision making they can make based on this one column, which is called ad hoc. One more scenario can be called in this ad hoc is that this delivering 1 or 2 gallons of delivery is a regular thing, right? But sometime, as we discussed in one of the previous video, that sometime if there is a event at home, maybe some small birthday party, or some, or maybe some any occasion, right? Anniversary or anything, right? So the customer will need more than the just 1 or 2 gallons, right? So in that case, customer can request vendor to provide more gallons, maybe 7, 8, 10, sometime even 20, right? We have requested, we have annual function usually. At that time we need more water, right? So we order them to give us 20 gallons, right, of water. So this can also be put it down over here, right? So the customer order transaction is designed in such a way that it can take up the regular deliveries, it can have the details of regular deliveries, and can have ad hoc deliveries as well, right? Then the updated by column is again referring to user and ID. Now over here I have marked this as null. Ideally it should be not null, but since when we started it is null only, so we'll keep it null, right? Ideally it should be not null. Then remarks, any remark. For example, again, if there is an ad hoc request of, let's say, 20 25 dollars, 25 gallons, right, then vendor can put a note over here that, okay, this was the reason why our one particular customer ordered this many quantities, right. So these remarks will help to justify, you know the in demand quantities, right. And later, this information can be used to, represent it in a nice manner, so that it can be helpful to vendors particularly, and because placing ad hoc order, by placing ad hoc order, they will vendor will earn more, right. Now next one is the customer payments, right. So customer payment is the next table. Now again, ID, running number, primary key. Customer ID, again, user ID referring to user ID. Vendor ID, again, referring to user ID, right. Then payment month, as I said, usually we pay monthly. So there is a card, and in the current process, if we see, they have given us the card. On the card, they will come deliver the water, and they will note down the quantity for whatever day we have taken it, right. And at the end, they'll calculate how many quantity of 20 liter gallon were taken, and based on the vendor rate, which we already store it over here, right, they will charge. Usually it is 15, 12, or anything, 12, 13, 14, anything, right. And they will charge the customer, right. Now customer can pay, the amount, basically either in cash or UPI or check. Here I have added more option, but ideally it is cash or online only, right. So it can be anything. Sometimes we do cash, sometimes we do GPay, sometimes we do Paytm, right. That depends, again, right. Amount paid and payment mode, okay, that we discussed. Remarks, any remarks, if you wanna play, if the vendor wanna place down for the customer, and then updated by you. Mostly this will be the helper or driver ID, because they go to customers home and deliver the water bottles, right. So again, here also we have kept it month and year wise, right. Month and year wise. Why? Because again, we want to have the monthly detail, right, of the payments done. Usually it is paid by us in, we usually pay once in a month, right. So when the month is over, they'll calculate the amount of gallons we have utilized, and based on the rate price, the amount will be paid, right. So this way we can maintain customers payment history also, right, what they have paid on what date, right, something like that. So this covers pretty much, so this is the final table, right. So we have covered pretty much all the table design, all the table requires, and with a very good database concept. We have not, made the table so that duplicate entry goes in. We have avoided unnecessary columns. We have taken exact data type. We have defined relationship and all those, right. So overall, this is how it looks like. You can pause the video. I'm just scrolling it one by one table at a time. You can pause the video and go through the all these tables and columns, right. And to now, once the tables are created, I have also created a database diagram by clicking right over here, new database diagram. It is just, I have to save time, I have already created. But this is now our model, enterprise relation diagram, model diagram looks like. Now, so at the heart we have users, then, you know then we have various other tables. Those are linked to each others, right. So if you see vendor water rates, so we have vendor ID, which is connected to user, right. So all these tables are connected. And the thumb rule of database design says that once you, create the table, once you generate the diagram, right, there should not be any independent table, right. So if you see this diagram, every table, they are connected with one or the other table, right. There is no independent table, right. And what is independent tables mean? Let's say there is a table, which is lying over here, and it has no relation with any of these table, right. So no link between any other table of the project, right. So that should not be the case, right. So good practice always says that whenever you generate your tables and you generate your diagram, there shouldn't be independent tables, right. So in this diagram we can see each table are connected to each other, either one or the other table. So this is a good database design, right? So I hope you like this mini video series, and you had a good overview of how to convert a business case into database and ultimately tables, right? So if you like this, hit like button, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you in some next other series. Thanks a lot, guys.